Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking about construction worker wage theft. Victor White is here, Southeastern Carpenters Union. We have a lot of calls. We're just going to go back to the phones now. Let's go to line 3. Hello, Carlos. Carlos, are you there? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I've been about 20 years on metal framing and construction, and I've been working for different contractors, and listening Mr. White about talking about the labor broker. He said, I think it's he means like subcontractors or whatever. But I have seen a lot of things not right. So I have 3 questions I would like to hear the answer if possible.
Okay, go ahead.
One is what sort of penalties do these companies face for not paying their share?
Okay, what sort of penalties? Okay, all right, yeah, let's ask that. What sort of penalties do they face for not following these rules?
Okay, yes, if I understand you correct, Carlos, there's a lot of different indemnities out here, wage and hour division, comp, even the IRS gets involved sometimes. It depends on what agency is doing the fining. We've seen fines go anywhere from $3,000 to $1.2 million.
Here in Tennessee or across the country?
Yes, in Memphis, Tennessee, there was a Nobles paid $1.2 million fine, had no problem whatsoever paying it. He was also given, though, 10 years in the penitentiary for tax fraud above $600,000, and it was actually, I think, somewhere around $2 million. But Mr. Nobles had an appeal bond of some type. I've got the case study on it, and he ended up, the 10 years was suspended, and he spent very little jail time whatsoever, but he did pay the fine. Now, moving on from that, and I think that was like 2006, since then, what we've had is a trend to where the authorities will say, yes, you broke the law. This guy broke the law. And from there, they will penalize them. Fine. Okay, and from there, these labor brokers or subcontractors have learned to make a down payment on it while you're changing your company name. Change your company name, and you may never have to make another payment. So if the state doesn't pursue it, you don't pay it, you've got another company, and same business, you know, right back to business. Once you get exposed again, it's first offense all over. As long as it's a corporation, it's first offense every time. So we've actually seen some folks get fined or have litigation against them 4 or 5 times, and each time it's been first offense, minimal amount of money, and it sounds good on paper. You know, the authorities say, oh, you know, we charged them $120,000. Well, if you don't collect the $120,000, the fine is just words on paper. So if you go do the research, you'll see that probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the monies are not collected.
Wow. All right, let's go to James. Hello, James. James, are you there? Yeah, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Listen to the issues here. How does this issue harm contractors who want to do the right thing and pay their guys fairly and do their taxes the correct way?
Well, the biggest thing that comes to mind is, and I think Jerry, the guy that called earlier, said it too. He was a contractor. You never acquire a bid. You've got to win a bid to get to work. And when you've got these indemnities out there that's bidding can bid up to 20% below you, they usually want to stay 3 to 4, just enough to get to win the bid, but it makes it impossible for you to get the bid. If you can't get the bid, not only is your company not making money, but you end up laying off employees, because if you can't keep up the work and the market share that your company's used to doing, you have no choice but lay off your employees, your skilled craft. And that brings you around to when you do get lucky and do get a bid for whatever reason, actually win one, well then you have a workforce problem. So you have to go hire people that you're not don't have a relationship with, used to working, and a lot of times these people won't have the same skills or the company loyalty and the motivation that your past workers had. So like I say, it resonates throughout the community. It's not just hurting a contractor, but it's hurting his entire workforce. And these people have spouses, families, children, so it resonates throughout the community.
Let's go to Reverend Fuzz. Hello, Reverend Fuzz.
Hey, good evening, Ben. Thank you for this program too.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm a quick because I want to ask something. I heard your guest really saying something that I'm disappointed that it's going to take that. It's kind of like, in order to fix this situation, there's got to be an uprising. And uprisings only happen when a leader comes along. There's a person who comes along who plays basketball like a Michael Jordan. There's someone who comes along who has a gift of looking at things as wrong and doing something that brings people together, like Martin Luther King did, and there's been others. You know, those are people who rally people around an issue. It's unfortunate that it looks like it's going to take that, because every week I get 4 or 5 people who are needing help with rent. I remember one of my members 20 years ago said, Reverend, people buy what they want and they pay for what they buy what they want and pay for what and beg for what they need. That's what they buy what they want and beg for what they need. These people do that. And I thought that was a cute quip for many years until one day I realized even if people paid for what they needed, they wouldn't have enough. It's not nearly enough. And I hope people out there listening can understand that people working for $17 an hour, that's like under $3,000 a month, it's not going to be enough to pay for food, clothes, and shelter and car. Insurance ain't even there. Wow. It's nowhere near enough. And finally, what people were making in the year 2000, they're still making about that same thing today on these hourly jobs. And President Trump touts that unemployment for African Americans is the lowest in history. Sure, because you're paying them half the wage. And so you're filling up these jobs. Those are some of my thoughts and comments. I'd like to ask, do you see that a revolution is coming? I don't want to see that, but that's what it looks like. And historically, that's how it always changed. It's not good what we see in our nation or in our civilization in terms of these very poor people who can't get health care, who don't have food. 100,000 people every day in Nashville are food deprived. That's just not right.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Fuzz. All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back and answer that question. His direct question, do you see a revolution coming? Do you see change coming? But I'll ask his direct question. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.